Putnam County School District is officially open for business for Tuesday, April the 23rd, 2019. We will have our Pledge of Allegiance by Mr. Bud McInnes, and I don't see Pastor Chumney, so I will do the invocation. Let us stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, God, we pause right now to say thank you. Thank you, God, that we live in a country, God, where we are able to voice our opinion, God, and have freedom of speech and share together. Now, God, we ask for your divine guidance in this meeting. We ask, Father, that you would help us to focus, oh God, on our children and what is best for this district. Guide our hearts and our minds. We ask all of this in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. We're ready for our presentations. At this time, we will have Mrs. Linda Myers to come and share with us Kids Tag Art presentation. Mrs. Myers is our tax collector.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. First thing I did was turn my phone off.
Okay.
I have been caught too many times. I hope I was effective with it. When the superintendent said we were on the agenda, I did not know we were first. Awesome, thank you very much. But last year we sat through some fabulous presentations on your sports teams. A number of them were receiving awards, and I kind of looked forward to that this year. I'll have to come back.
Good.
But it's a pleasure to be here this afternoon, Madam Chair, School Board, and members, and Superintendent Cerency, and of course our good friend, your attorney. I heard him give a keynote speech to top.
Wasn't it wonderful?
Wasn't it special to have one of our homegrown from our school system to be speaking to our homegrown children and showing them a future here in Putnam County. And that's what I'm here to talk about too as well. Thank you to the sponsors that help make some of these things happen. Every one of these events has a sponsor, a business sponsor that is behind it, or a community group that is behind it. We are your partners. We are the school system's partners to see a better future for our children and for our community. But it's a pleasure to be here today supporting the Kids Tag Art program. This is year 3, hard to believe. And the success goes to your wonderful staff. I have to tell you, in year 1, we were in 3 schools. And we thought, oh my gosh, only 3, but boy, did we learn some lessons. In year 2, we were in 8 schools. In year 3, this year, we were in all 11 elementary schools in Putnam County. Awesome. How exciting. It was so exciting. Well, thank you. But the success goes to a variety of things. And before I do that, everybody's been at a speech where they talked about thanking everybody and they forgot to thank their husband or their spouse, right? Yeah. So I actually have my work spouse with me, Eva Hottinger. Let me say everything in our office that works in our office, we have to say thank you to Eva. She is our Kids Tag Art coordinator among many other jobs. So before I thank anybody else, I need to make sure I thank home. So thank you. And also she's going to, we're going to talk about some opportunities, and she has some of these. Did I take these from you? Sorry. Why do I have these? It's an opportunity I'll talk about in just a minute, but we're here to do 2 things. One is to thank your staff. We had 11 supportive principals. We had, whether it was your librarian, media specialist, whether it was your art teacher, or whether it was a 5th grade teacher, it was their passion and their caring for their students that this is successful. This program is successful based on your staff. Thank you to all of them. If you're here tonight, thank you for what you're doing. Well, all your staff, every day you're taking care of our children. We can't thank you enough. But this program would not be successful with our 5th graders without great staff. The other component, which is why we're here tonight, is to thank our sponsors. This project doesn't get off the ground without dollars from business partners. And you all know that. And we have a number of dedicated business partners that step up to the plate. And really here today, I know I want to join you in honoring them and thanking them for their commitment to this project. But before I get farther on that, let me tell you, we talked about our schools. Well, we had 79 students the first year in the 3 schools, right? We had 425 in the second year. We had 529 students. So there are, and you can show that if you would, Ms. Pickens. There are 529 of these designs on our website for anyone to come and look at, and you can purchase them. I brought the one I purchased with me, and this is the one our office selected as the Tax Collector Office of the Year license tag, and it goes on my car for an entire year. So it gets I get very personal with this plate. But we have 529 of those designed by our children, and you will be so impressed. We had about 70 of them at the fair booth, and people stopped and were just complimenting the talent. Again, if not for staff helping to develop it, families helping to develop it, but truthfully, this project rises and falls on the support of our business sponsors. So with that, in year 1, we raised, let's see, let me find that number. In year 1, well, I know it's here, but I can tell you in year 2, we raised $4,250 that went back to your school system. Wow. In year 3, we raised $5,290 that went back to your school system. And if anybody can do quick math, at this point we are at $12,542. Those dollars were handed directly to each of your schools. Yeah. In fact, they were handed to them on the night of March 9th, so that they used those dollars from our contributors for arts in their specific school. And they know what they need. You know, it wouldn't help us to tell them what they need. What they need from our community is the dollars to do a great job and not have to take it out of their pockets. And you know they do that every single day. So with that, those folks that we want to thank and are here with me, a couple of them are here with us today. Some of them, because of the timing of this, are at work and are not able to join us. But let me go through those really quick. We have 2 brand new sponsors who are not with us today, and that's Vulcan Materials and Kid Care Pediatrics. So great. Both of them really good contributors, I know, and they both are working with the school system on projects. And also this year, the Plaquemine Daily News has joined us as our media partner, so we're delighted to see that. I see Brandon is here. Please make sure you take that message back of thanks to the folks you work with, Brandon. But also not with us today is JJ or Amy Gullett, I don't believe, with Gullett Title. And if you're here, please let me know. And Daniel Carl with Waste Pro. Those of you who know Daniel know that he does not like to be in front of a microphone. So I'm not sure we'll get him here very often, but Waste Pro is what a contributor to our community, but this is something they specifically love. And for some reason, every year somebody does a recycling license tag, and I have to tell you, they love that. They feel like they're getting their message across. But with us tonight are 2 of our sponsors, and I'd like to first of all introduce Charlie Huguenard. He is representing Seminole Electric, and he, I think, has some comments to make.
Good afternoon. I'm Charlie Huguenard with Seminole Electric. I'm Vice President of Power Production. We're very proud to be involved in the program and support such a fine artist in the community, and would love to see this continue. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And so I really love when he ends with, we want to see this continue, because that means we're on the hook for next year. Super. And also our major sponsor of this event, without them, we would not be successful, and that is Beck Auto Group. As you know, they do so much in the community, but this specifically, Wayne has just bought it. I sold it to him 3 years ago, and he just went, I love it. I want to be part of it, and it's just right up Beck's alley as far as what they do in the community. So Wayne, can you join us, please?
Thank you, Linda. Just want to say it's a great program. Thank Linda Myers for really pushing it. She's really she won't take a lot of credit, but she's really the one behind it. The thing I really like about this program, besides getting the kids to hold up their art talents, is we recognize through Linda and through the school board, we recognize these kids at ceremonies just like they were athletes. And that is so important. And they get to walk up on stage, and it's really cool. And they could even get a chance to shake Rick Churnsey's, which is a big deal. So I appreciate it. So I appreciate the school board support, and it's a great program, and we're going to be in as long as Linda lets us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad he reminded me of that. We have to say thank you to Florida School of the Arts. They became aware of this program, and feeling the same way of Wayne is we need to recognize the multi-talents of our children. They stepped up to the plate and invited us to be in their auditorium. So we have these fifth graders walking on the Florida School of the Arts auditorium stage and being recognized. This is our second year there, and it has been fabulous. And I know if you talk to any of the teachers that were there, and having said that, I want to thank Bud, Miss Gilliard, Mr. McGinnis, Miss Gilliard, and Miss Pickens for joining us that night. And I know I don't do that the sense that some couldn't be there, because I know that this time frame is a busy time. And of course, Mr. Cernsey was there on stage, certainly welcoming our young children, our young designers. But thank you for being there. And the room was full. If any of you were there, the room was full of parents and grandparents and aunties and uncles and children that were just...
And Linda, that night, we actually had a school board meeting that night, I believe, and that's why we were late, but we did get there, and It was a great ceremony.
And thank you for making that extra effort, because we have to take the date Florida School of the Arts gives us, and they seem to give us Tuesdays, but we don't turn them down. But thank you so much for that extra effort to be there. I appreciate that. But once again, if not for your staff at the school, it wouldn't be successful. They bring passion, and when they show me their students, and when we do the awards, you may not know this, but we actually go to the school and present each child, and that's where the money from the sponsors goes to. Not only is it the money that comes to each school in actually cash, the cost of making all of these license plates for 529 students was around $10,000. So that comes from our sponsors, but in a lot of counties, they don't do this. But in our county, our children won't get their own design if we don't give them their own design. So one of the things we do is produce a plate for every child who participates. Now, all children don't participate, and we understand that too. Some of them, get a little nervous about drawing. I would. I understand that. But we present them to the students at schools, and I will tell you, those classrooms are full of joy when they can show off what they have designed and put into place. And then they get to go home and sell it to mom and dad, which is my last thing. They get to sell it to mom and dad and school board members and actually bring in more money to their school. So we have made it easier, and Eva has some of these cards if we have anybody in the audience who really wants to buy one of these beautiful plates. There's choice 529. I know you'll find one you like, and or coffee cups. You can have your plate made into a coffee cup.
It can be any plate?
Any plate, any of the 529 plates that are out there, and if you review it, we just have amazing talent.
Well, I had one that was the superintendent's choice that I have in my home that I'm going to put on my vehicle, but it actually had a big gator on it.
It's the alligator, isn't
Alligator,
it?
yeah.
It was. I remember who.
Alma mater, yeah.
I remember exactly who did it. She came to the fair and showed it off to everybody.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she was very proud. But just to let you know that when you buy this tag, here's the sale. When you buy this for $15, over $7 goes back to the school. When you buy the coffee cup for $20, over $8 goes back to the school. It varies based on postage a little bit, but over $8 goes back to the school. So it is a moneymaker for them. But more than that, when your child sees you drinking coffee out of their design, you just done something really special for them. And it's one of those subtle things we don't always know the impact it's going to have. So with that, again, thank you. We're here tonight, and I'm joining you in thanking these sponsors.
Could we ask you and the sponsors to come up front for a photo op?
Oh, and we actually have you could.
Yeah.
And we have this big, beautiful check that we are going to just
Absolutely.
take a picture with. Thank you.
And I want to thank our sponsors, especially Seminole and Beck, for being here and all the work they've done in supporting our school district.
And ditto.
Madam Chair,
what your protocols are, but we definitely want all of you in this picture. Am I in front of somebody
You're
tall?
good.
I'm the front center
You're
tall.
perfect.
Thank you. Appreciate you
Let me
coming.
get in front of you.
Come right in the middle. Hold the check.
Hold the check. Come on, Charlie, in fact, you guys up in there.
Don't let it bounce or anything.
Luckily, it's been cashed already.
It's a joke.
I got it.
All right, look this way, and 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you did.
Oh, you're welcome. I got it, thank you.
Getting catfish on your hand.
And so I'm just going to close with that old song, and nobody here is old enough to remember it. See you in September.
Yeah.
Thank you, Linda.
Exactly, Jane. You know what I'm talking about.
Get in the mic, Jane. No. Okay. And as I said earlier, dittos to what the superintendent has said. We do appreciate all that you do for our children. And the point that Wayne made in regards to our athlete, we have an array of talents in Putnam County, be it academic, be it sports, and now we have artists. And so we try to embrace all of those things. Again, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay? At this time, we will have the Hope Squad update from Mr. Randy Hedstrom.
Thank you, Ms. Gilliard. Okay, earlier this year, we had CL Overturf. Some of the teachers come, and they were having some issues with some of the students at the school that were receiving lots of referrals. So with that knowledge, I met with our mental wellness counselors, two of the counselors, Stephanie Weldon and Joelle Marston. We met with them, put our minds together, and we came up with Hope Squad. Hope Squad stands for Helping Others Persevere Every Day. And we talked about a program that we could help these young people learn how to deal and coping skills to deal with the regular classrooms and some of the things, some issues that they have had. Dr. Cerncy came to me and wanted to know a report on this and how this was going so far. So with 14 kids, I did the data. They accounted for 256 referrals, and so that's a lot of referrals. So what I looked at was before and after. Now this is after we started helping these kids and working with these kids on February the 4th. That was our first date, and they did 2 days a week counseling. They would bring them down there counseling, and this was not punishment. This was a chance for us to work with them, hear what they had to say, and deal with a lot of the issues that they were dealing with, you know. So it was not a punishment thing. And so now, since then, they've only had 37 referrals since then. So it goes to show you what you can do with a lot of this, in which I was very happy that the data turned out that way. I didn't know how it was going to turn out. I don't know how I'd stand up here and report to you if it didn't turn out the way we would do. And granted, these kids aren't out of the woods yet, but they've stopped running. And the counselors have done a wonderful job showing them love and care. And the school has done some issues too also. It's not just all the counselors. The school has done some wonderful issues with it that has helped out. But our counselors meet with them 2 days a week. And we do have some of those students are here today. We've bought them shirts and we've had snacks for them, and we've done they've done a lot of counseling with these students. So I did want to report that to you. And again, that's 256 to 37.
That's awesome.
You know, which is really, and we're going to continue it through the summer. We promise, and the parents have agreed to try to do some during the summer, and then transfer these students over to Jenkins, where they will go to Jenkins and work with them there also and continue that. But these are the kind of programs that we want to have and that we want to start to help some of our most vulnerable students that have some issues that we need to deal with that. With that, I'm going to stop talking and allow Miss Stephanie Weldon to come up, and Joelle Marston, who ran the program, okay? And the kids also.
Hello. I love y'all shirts.
Stage fright, I would say.
I don't blame them. I chicken too.
Mamas would do it for her.
Can you say hi in your name?
Nope, just tell them hi in your name. Pull the mic down, Stephanie, a little bit. So
Right here? Hey, my name is Eric Matt.
we're glad to have you here, Eric.
Hey, my name is Travis Kemp.
How you doing, Travis?
So shy.
Hi, my name is Altanaya Williams.
Hi, Altanaya.
Come on, hurry.
Hey, my name is Sanjay Rose.
How you doing, Mr. Rose? That's what I thought.
Hey, my name is Chance Higgins.
Chance,
Higgins.
Hey, okay, all right.
welcome. Go ahead.
You want to talk? Okay.
No, go ahead.
Oh, you have my paper. All right, are you going to at least stand with me while I read your statement?
Oh, no, it's my own statement.
You going to read? Okay, there you go. Perfect.
Read my own statement.
I'll stand right here.
Wait, what I start off at right here?
Yeah, wherever you want to start.
Wait. Alright, so. Hi, my name is Altanaya Williams, and yeah, Ma, you can read it.
Okay. Well, it's going to sound silly me reading your name, but okay.
No, just start from right here.
Hope has helped us with. Say it.
No, you say it.
Okay, well, I'm going to pretend to be her for a little bit. I don't have her style and fashion, though, so I don't know how it's going to go. So, Hope, this is from the students. Hope has helped us with a lot of things. Not getting as upset when things happen. In class, talking to self under breath or inside heads without interrupting. So, not yelling out, like things like, what word do we like to use a lot that we banned?
Shut up.
Shut up, you. Not talking out. And then TNK. Can you tell them what TNK is?
Truth, necessary, and kind.
So taking a breath and thinking whether it's truth, it's necessary, and kind before we say it to other people or about other people. Right? There's some things that we've been working on. Do you want me to read this part? You want to read this part? Okay. So just so that you guys kind of know what we've been working on, it's quality friendships, developing solid self-regulation skills, really working on making sure that you have healthy relationships. Is your friends bringing you up? Or are they bringing you down? How to pick when it's good to do that. Maybe sometimes we have to let some friends go if they're not helping us reach our goals. And really just learning to work together. Like Mr. Hedstrom said, there's 14 kids that are actively involved in this. A lot of them came in not liking each other, having previous things that they've kind of had problems with each other on. So just getting them so that they're kind of able to be in the room together and solve things together. And we have different projects that we've worked on. These are definitely kids that need hands-on. I think that's the best way, is getting them active out doing things. They're even willing to rake the lawn. So these are kids that really enjoy doing that stuff and giving back to their community.
Thank you, Altanaya.
Good afternoon. I'm going to ask Mr. Eric, since he's so close to me, to stand with me. So you got to hold me up, support me. Okay. Okay. My name is Stephanie Wellen, and I've had the pleasure of working. It's a blessing, I will say, to have been able to be involved with these young men and women since to February 4th of 2019. We've come a long way. We've come a long way. I'd like to reiterate on hope, helping others persevere every day. Eric holds me up, and I try to lift him up. That's what it's really all about, us being there for one another. And I'd like to talk about our foundation. it's built on trust and mutual respect for one another. We've learned that trust and respect is so essential, and it is so needed, and it needs to be reciprocated between adults as well as our youth in our school system. It really does. It is just necessary that we do such. And so the programs that we pull from, it is a resiliency-based program and a strength-based program. A lot of it is common sense, I tell you. It's just really meeting these kids where they are. And I'd like to add this. Our country was founded by some of the most opposing individuals. They went against the grain. And so leaders sometimes go against the grain. And when these kids are asked to be dismissed from class, it is over the intercom, if they're asked to release the Hope Squad leaders. They are our future, and each one of these young folks will be leaders. And hope is not a punishment. Hope is a promise, and I promise you that. They will do well. Thank you.
Question? Now, the ones that are in the program now, that's not just it, right? Is it open to other students? Do you bring in other students that may have some things that they could benefit from being a part of Hope?
Yes, ma'am. What happened was how all of this came to fruition was that several of these students were identified by guidance counselors, administration at the school, at CeeLo. And from that, we just started working with them. And we are looking forward to transitioning to Jenkins, as 7th graders, and we will follow them and support them, hold them up, give them a hand up, not a hand out.
Yes.
We don't babysit them.
Yes.
Yes, so we're looking forward. I mean, they've been phenomenal. I mean, the proof is in the numbers.
Yes.
I would just like to thank each of, to congratulate each of you students from getting to where you are now from where you were. I think you need to be applauded, and I hope you continue in your success.
And this change carries over into the home as well. I know it does, because I'm watching them, and I see parents are seeing the changes that have come about. And
Could
so
we ask our parents to stand?
Most definitely.
Yes, please. Parents, would you stand so we can applaud you? Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Y'all come up here and get your picture taken.
I'm here on behalf of St. Giant Rose,
okay.
and I appreciate the program, and I'm very glad that this has happened, because a lot of kids it's a need, and I made some statements concerning the school that may have been negative, because at one time I was looking at certain things that were happening, and some of these students needed to be in Hope program, but at the same time they were marked students. They were marked because of certain statements teachers have made. If you were listening to Ms. Stephanie, she made statements concerning adults instead of being helped. They were making a downward spiral.
Yes.
And that downward spiral, I made a statement. I said it's a penile system. I said it's a penile system because it's gated. The police are there, handling kids like adults, charging them like adults, and a student don't even know the law. And so these are things that I observe. We're in a different age and time now where we have to protect the schools, because we got people that come off of this game on that they're playing with. We got people playing those games where they're just sitting all day on television playing this game that kills people and go around, and their minds are consumed. Their minds are consumed from what they have eaten all day coming from that, whatever that game is, I don't know. Yeah, Fortnite. They're consumed. And so that turns into reality mentally in their minds. It turns to a reality, and that thing is destructive. And so it's something that's feeding, even on the cell phones. A kid can be on the cell phone playing one of these games right in the classroom, and his mind's being consumed. Cell phones need to be controlled. And so I'm glad that this HOPES program is set up to help these students, because a lot of them they don't have much support. They don't. And so I'm glad to take time out and be here today.
Thank you.
And thank you,
sir.
thank you, Ms. Gayard, for
Thank you.
giving
All
me
right.
the opportunity.
Thank you.
If everybody will look this way.
Where's Headstrom?
And one more. Awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I just want to thank Mr. Hestrom for his leadership and, being proactive, and, he's done a great job of that, and just, instead of reacting, he's being proactive, and thanks to Stephanie and her mental wellness staff for all the good work they're doing around the district. So,
And
great
one
work.
word that she spoke, and I know the children picked up on it, she said that these are going to be leaders over at Jenkins Middle School next year in 7th grade. And there's a great book that says we speak things that aren't as though they are. And so it's power in the tongue of life and death. And so we're speaking life and we're speaking leadership into our children. And this program is showing that it can help. And again, I too thank you all, Mr. Hedstrom and your team, for what you're doing. Okay, do we have any more presentations? I think we're done. At this time, we are now open for public comments. You needed to fill out a card, and at this time, we will hear a general comment from Walk-In Education, the Walk-In Education Summit, Putnam Federation of Teachers Union, by Mr. Mark Model.
Mark Model, President of Putnam Federation Teachers and chemistry teacher at Palatka High School. I want to start by saying thank you to the board and the administrators that supported our walk-in last week. I think it was very successful. We had hundreds of our employees here that participated at schools. I saw Mr. McGinnis in the picture from Browning Pearson. I think you said you went to Price as well after. So,
And I was in Tallahassee.
yep, and I know you would have participated here if you'd been in town. So I thank everybody for their support on this. It went really well, and thank you to the paper. Palatka Daily News provided excellent coverage of it as well. Hundreds of schools around the state participated, with thousands and thousands of individuals, including teachers, non-instructional employees, administrators, parents, and students as well. So we had a good turnout here in Putnam and across the state, and an excellent article in the paper. Next, I want to invite all of you, superintendent and school board members, I want you to mark your calendars for May 18th. That's a Saturday. And I am personally inviting each of you to attend an education summit in Orlando.
Miranda?
In Orlando.
Okay.
No?
Okay.
Okay. You can ride with me. I'll take you down. We can go together. Anyway, this is being put on, organized by FEA, but my counterparts across the state will be inviting superintendents and school board members. Your associations, the Superintendent Association, School Board Member Association, will be also receiving kind of blanket invitations. This is going to be a discussion about real actions that we can take across the state to support our public schools. And Bringing Voices Together, an Education Summit for Florida's Public Schools is the title. So if you can make it to that, May 18th, I'll be there. I'll be there the evening before, actually, for our governance meeting, but we would love to have all of you there.
Is this the same time as the PFT project presentations at the training center?
Showcase, yes.
Oh, it sure is.
10 o'clock.
It sure is. Yep, that's a busy day.
Yeah.
Well,
Keep Putnam beautiful.
yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's disappointing. Dang. They plan these things all the same time. I know May 18th was kind of the only date that our teachers could get, our teacher leaders could schedule their presentations, but and that'd probably take all morning too. Well, anyway, if one of you is interested in coming down there and some can come here, that's I'll have to be down in Orlando, so I'm going to have to miss the teacher leader presentations, but hopefully they'll have some take some video, some good pictures of that, but or I'll have to come back early. But anyway, that's when our governance meeting is. But anyway, you'll all receive invitations. I'll be sending you an invitation as well with more details about it. But you're right, that is kind of a bad weekend. It's kind of busy already. But anyway, think about it. And I do have a question, just a quick question. I noticed that the joint resolution that I presented to you last time didn't make it on the agenda. I was just curious if that wasn't something you guys were wanting to entertain.
Didn't have a go.
I passed them around last time. I
Can I have
passed
mine?
copies. I had like 10 of them I passed across there.
Yeah, we were supposed to
Yep.
discuss it and.
I thought, so
Yeah.
anyway, but
Okay. Oversight.
Okay.
And we do apologize.
I was just curious.
If we got it on the 7th, when are we, 7th of May, would that, or is that too late?
Well, it's more of a symbolic gesture anyway. The legislative session will be wrapping up then, but we can still do it. It would still be a nice message to send that we're all together on this. Okay, even after
And
the
we
fact.
are.
So, and who knows? The budget may not be decided by then anyway, because sometimes they go into emergency session to do their behind the door dealing. So so anyway, thank you for your support on the walk-in. I really do appreciate it. And if anybody's interested in coming to the summit, it is a shame that it's the same day. Yeah, but anyway. If nothing else, I'll report back to you on the summit, and and hopefully we'll have some good ideas come out of that. But we are looking to have. What I'll try to do is get some other stakeholders from our district to go down, because we're not looking for just elected officials. We're looking for community leaders, and they want each of us to bring at least 10 people with it, to bring 10 people down to this. So I was going to start here with you guys, and then reach out to community leaders, anybody who has a stake, in public education. Really, and just to get there and put heads together and think about what can we do to help support public education in the state of Florida. So,
Okay, and now the walk-in,
Yep.
I thought I understood at the last meeting that it was every Wednesday until.
the walk-in, well, we're read every Wednesday.
Right.
We're read every Wednesday through legislative session. The walk-in was just last Wednesday. Tough to get people out one day for that, but
I thought I heard you say
yeah.
that.
So the walk-in was just the one day, but and again to coincide with our legislators coming home for Easter weekend, and so articles in newspapers across the state getting this out there. So I think the message was sent, and I think it was successful. So again, thank you for supporting that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, if you have a copy of that resolution, we'll be glad to add that to our packet for the next meeting.
We'll pass that down
Okay.
as soon as we
I'll let
get
Ms.
it.
Cormany
Yes.
keep it.
Okay, all right, as soon as you get it, we'll pass it down. All right, at this time, we will move into our consent agenda. School board and the superintendent, we'll start with Mrs. Crawford. I have nothing to pull, okay?
They F2 and F8, just some questions.
Hold on. Let me get a pen. Okay. We're pulling F2 and F8, and it's just for questions, okay? All righty. I have nothing to pull. I just wanted an explanation of F9, but I'm not going to pull it because I do have the MOU in front of me. Mrs. Pickens.
No, I had a question on F10, and I talked to Lucy just a minute ago, and so I'm
You
all
got it
good.
cleared up. Okay, so Let's get a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve the consent agenda minus F2 and F8.
Second.
Second.
All right, it was properly moved by Mrs. Holly Pickens that we accept the consent agenda minus F2 and F8, and second by Mr. Bud McInnes. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposes none. Motion carries 4-0. All right, Mr. McInnes.
Okay, well, I spoke with Mr. Bowling yesterday about F2 with the warehouse, and I just wanted him to share what he shared with me and reassure our district that we're not in the warehouse business.
Well, we had a conversation, and it's still very early on, and it's more hypothetical than anything right now, but we are looking to start to scale down some of the things that we have in our warehouse, and let teachers direct shipped. And we have started to look around, and there are some districts who have gotten away from having a warehouse altogether, and I think the closest one to us is actually Volusia County. So we're looking into the long-term possibility of maybe seeing if there's other options available as opposed to re-upping this lease every year. In the meantime, it serves a necessary purpose, and the individuals who work there enjoy the space. They always report that we're using a little bit more than we actually pay for, and it's in a good location. It's centrally located, and we can get everything out to the schools. So certainly it's nothing that we could do overnight, but it's something that we're starting to look at. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
On F8, only question.
Let's go ahead and get F2 taken care of. Make a motion for it if you're satisfied
Yes.
with F2. So if you'll make a motion.
Yeah, I make a motion that we accept F2.
Do I get a second?
A second.
All right, it's been properly moved by Mr. McInnes that we accept F2 with the explanation from Mr. Bowling, and it was seconded by Mrs. Holly Pickens. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposers, same sign. Motion carries 4-0.
I forgot to ask him about the two schools. Which are the two schools that y'all are going to have?
The two schools that will have it will be Crescent City and Palatka High School, and we offered to Interlaken, but you have to have a certified. They have to be certified to teach driver's ed, and I called out there, and they have no one that can teach certified, so we've invited their students to come to Palatka High School. We did the same thing to QI. We've offered it out there that those kids need to contact Palatka High School to go ahead for their schedules. It also can be taken online, but this does a little bit better for the kids as far as you've had a driver's instructor where they go out and drive, they get a discount on their insurance at the same time getting a credit. And it's totally paid for. It's no money off of us if it comes off of tickets. So if you get caught speeding, you're helping the kids' driver's not. One way to look at it. Okay.
I can make a motion to accept F8.
I'll second that.
All right, it's been properly moved by Mr. Bud McInnes that we accept F8 and the explanation from Mr. Randy Hedstrom. It was seconded by Mrs. Jane Crawford. All in favor of this, of accepting F8, let it be known by the word aye.
Aye.
Oppose the same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Okay. We move now from our consent agenda to emergency session. We go now into emergency session, and we do have some items listed here. The first one is the Memorandum of Understanding for Jobs for Florida Graduates, Interlaken High School, Crescent City High School, Palatka High School, Miller Middle School, Jenkins Middle School, Price Middle School. Justification, explanation, time sensitive.
I'll make a motion that we accept the Memorandum of Understanding for Jobs for Florida Graduates.
A second.
Been properly moved by Mrs. Jane Crawford that we accept the MOU for Jobs for Florida graduates, and second by Mrs. Holly Pickens. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposers, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 2, out-of-state travel, federal programs, employee to Tempe, Arizona, May 5th through the 7th, 2019, justification, explanation, time sensitive.
I make a motion that we accept out-of-state travel emergency item.
A second.
All right, it's been properly moved by Mr. Bud McInnes that we accept the out-of-state travel, time-sensitive justification, explanation, and second by Mrs. Holly Pickens. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposers, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. We are now out of emergency session. All right.
Scare me to death.
I know it's something. All righty. No unfinished business, no new business. At this time, we will have our reports from the board's attorney, and the superintendent. We will start with you, Mrs. Pickens.
Okay, I had the opportunity of going to visit Mosley, I think it was the 11th. And, you know, I've heard so much about what's happening at Mosley, and so when I went, I was blown away by the staff, the teachers, the students. It was, we went into probably 8 or 9 classes, and it was total engagement. It was really awesome to see. But one thing that really stuck with me was during transition, sometimes you can really tell how a school is, how their kids move from place to place. And this was right after lunch, and it was amazing. Almost all the kids spoke to their administrators. They hugged them, they shook hands with them, and it just was a really nice place to be. I really enjoyed that day. And then I also went to Rural Days at the legislature last week, and Putnam represented itself extremely well. And I did get to go around to see some of the booths. I personally felt like the district's booth was probably the best, and I thought it was great. I thought the cookies from the culinary arts were excellent, all flavors. They were, because I tasted all of them. But I spent my day breading catfish, and the Rotary Club of Crescent City served 950 dinners, and I don't want to see any catfish for a while. And then last week, the Raider Showcase, they had at Crescent City High School a Raider Showcase night. And it was really for 8th graders incoming next year's freshman class to come in with their parents and kind of see the different clubs and activities that the school has. And from Century 21 to, you know, the gym was filled with all the different sports teams, free physical forms were given, and it was just a really good night. I passed several former students that now have 9th grade students, and that was interesting. And but it was very, very well attended, and I know that part of to get to the community and get them to come to the schools is very important, and it's working right now. So it was greatly received. And also, when I was there, the Children's Home Society had a booth, and they were passing flyers out for their mental health programs, and it was wonderful to see that was in the public, and it wasn't, you know, just behind closed doors, but it's out there, and making a lot of parents aware of it. You know, I just thought that was great. And lastly, the luncheon today that the Kiwanis gave was really wonderful, and makes you feel really good to see all those students that have straight A's and quite a few of them that had straight A's for 3 years. And just, I'm coaching a little rec volleyball team, and one of my players, Shay Delaney, was one of the recipients. So that's it.
He's still coaching. Yeah. Mr. McInnes?
Okay. Had the opportunity to attend the Superintendent Student Advisory Committee at IHS. They had a group of CH Price Middle School students and the high school students, and they did an interesting survey with the students, and probably the superintendent will share more about that. But some things that gleaned to me, they had them ask if there was an adult they could trust. 100% yes, said yes. Were lockdowns taken seriously by students? 50% said they were. 100% of them said the lockdowns were taken seriously by staff. 75% probably didn't know. They knew who their guidance counselor was. All the students said they never took fire drills seriously, and pretty much they said that the staff took it absolutely 100% seriously. None of them knew what Fortify Florida was, and the mode of information to be transferred to their parents was Facebook. And I happened to be on Facebook at the time, so it's definitely for old people, I guess. And I had the opportunity to attend the School Advisory Committee, IES, and had a lot of good information there as well. Attended an emergency operation plan meeting here, and some of the information that I was amazed at came from a student, and pretty much had some really good points and questions about what actually goes on in an emergency situation, and that was pretty eye-opening as well. Did the walk-in, did it at Browning Pierce. I got a personal invite, and I tried to make it back to Price, and they said take pictures, so I ended up picturing and cameraing, which was great. They had a big turnout. I was glad to be a part of that. I had an opportunity to speak at the Rotary of Interlochen and Lakes area. We gave them kind of the state of the district, not like Mr. Surrency did, our superintendent would, but I hung in there. I did want to comment. I was talking with Thomas yesterday in my yard, and as I was talking with him, 2 cars got pulled over, and I just want to commend the sheriff's office for their directive about watching the safe zones now, especially this time of the year. We got a lot of newbies driving, and just rookies, and there's 2 things that I can't stand is people who speed and people who litter, and I'll still keep picking up the trash on 315, but they got 2 of them yesterday, and I applaud them for that. I want to spread the word about April 30th. There's a fundraiser for Browning Pierce Elementary at Chili's from 10:30 in the morning, 10:30 p.m., and this is going to benefit the rewards for iReady, their iReady rewards. And did enjoy the thing that Holly mentioned about the Straight A Awards. And I look forward to doing the tour of Putnam County with Pedro Baseball. They're going to play Crescent City tonight. And those are my grandkids' baseball team, Pedro. So they'll hit Crescent City, Palatka, and Interlochen.
Okay.
That's it.
So you're going to hang in there?
I'm going to hang in there.
Okay. All right. Mrs. Crawford?
I was just remembering something else. I had the opportunity to participate in the school student advisory committee at Palatka High School with our central area middle schools and high school students as they discussed school safety. It was enlightening to hear the students' opinions, and most of them were quite candid with their responses. Travis Weaver did an excellent job leading this discussion, and I was glad to be a part of it. I spent last Tuesday and Wednesday at the Capitol representing Putnam County schools at Rural Days in the legislature. It was the start of something I think that is great, and that it will continue to highlight the wonderful things that are going on in our rural counties in Florida. It was a great day, and I could not believe, Holly mentioned it already, that the Rotary Club of Crescent City or is that the name of it? Served 950 meals, and I mean, it was like clockwork. It was unbelievable. I was very disappointed there was none left for us to have, but they did a great job. I took part today in the Kiwanis of the Azalea City's annual Straight A Luncheon, awarding our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students who have maintained straight A's. It was wonderful to honor them, and our own board attorney gave the keynote address, and he did an excellent job, and I think he really inspired those students. And I heard several parents say what a great address it was. So that was great. I'm looking forward to honoring our CTE Superstars Monday night at Palatka High School. That's always a great event that's under the direction of our director, Renee Huff, who is in charge of that. She does a great job. I'm gearing up to proctor AP tests soon at Palatka High School. I can't believe it's that time of the year already. And I wanted to mention to remind everybody of the Feed the Need garage sale this weekend at Bramlett's. If you can get by there and buy somebody else's stuff, I know you need more stuff, so please come by there to get some. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Just two things, just to piggyback on what Mrs. Crawford said regarding the Superintendent's Council at Palatka High School. And again, ditto, Mr. Weaver did do a fantastic job. And I felt like the students were in tune with what is going on. And one of the things that stuck out was Mr. Stout mentioning how he had actually did one of the drills without notifying many of them, and how well everyone responded, even the students that were caught outside of the classroom. And so the students that were a part of the council were able to tell us how intense it was and how everybody took it seriously. And so that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that anytime there's something going on, that our students take it seriously, even if it is a drill, because practice does make perfect. And with the Guardian program, I've been listening to the news in Jacksonville, Duval County, they're just trying to cross the bridge that we've already crossed. We have gone through and gotten our Guardian program in place, and they are yet to embark on it, and it seems like they may have to call us for some guidance there, because I do think that our program is great. I'm not saying this just to be saying it. I really think it is in place, and our parents trust us, because at first, you know how tense it was. You know, it got real tense in here when we were trying to decide. But I think we made the best choice at that time for our students and our staff. And so we applaud all of you. And again, with what Mr. McInnes said, Jacksonville, they're cracking down on the speeders because school is coming to a close. There are a lot of activities going on. And so that will make me conscious of it, because I got a text message from Travis Weaver when I passed him that the speed limit was 55. And so I'm going to obey the law and do what I'm supposed to do. Mr. Motor, we are passing this down so that it will get on the agenda, if you'll pass that. And I'm done. All right, Mr. Attorney.
Thank you. It was a pleasure participating in the Straight A luncheon today. Thank you to the Kiwanis Club for inviting me to be there. And it's great to see so many talented young people in our middle schools. Otherwise, everything is going well in the legal department.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And
Superintendent.
thank you, Madam Chair. And I have a few things just to quickly cover. Thank y'all for attending the student advisory meetings. That was very helpful for us. When we asked them questions, we actually had them turn their backs, if you recall,
Yes.
so they could be anonymous. And really, kids will tell you the truth. So we got a lot of truth. So very helpful, and I think it's going to further reinforce what we're doing to protect kids. So thank you. You had asked me to come back with a recommendation from our last meeting on a couple items.
Yes.
And our leadership team met. First of all, regarding the valedictorian, salutatorian practice, we would like to continue and not change that at all. So we're not going to be bringing that to the board at this time. And that was based on one of the comments from one of our staff that came to the board, but we feel like it's working very well, and we wish not to change that at this time. Also, we will be putting on the agenda for the next meeting the information that was brought to you from the communities and schools. We did discuss that, felt that was a very worthy thing in supporting our mission. So we will be placing something on the next meeting's agenda for that. I do want to continue. Our own Felicia Cahan has really worked hard on putting together our Product of Putnam program. And again, we have a product right here, and a lot of you are products of Putnam, but again, we want to celebrate the people who have gone through our school system who has chosen to come back and work, volunteer, or give back to our community. And how well can we promote what we're doing here as a school district, but to celebrate those who have been successful. So this program is recruiting or asking people to nominate people who they felt like would qualify for that. So we actually have, I believe, Felicia, you have some hard copies. If anybody here wants to nominate someone, you can still go online, our Facebook page and our website, and actually recommend somebody online. But I do want to say the deadline for that is Friday, and then we will have the chamber select someone from each of those categories, and then in June we will be honoring those people at our board meeting, one of our board meetings, and presenting a plaque. And again, these people, we actually heard from someone in one of our advisory meetings say, why don't you have these people go into the schools and actually mentor students who might be looking to go in that particular field? What a great idea. So they can be our ambassadors, mentors, if you will. And so it's going to be a great thing. And we already have over 100 nominations just online. That's not even counting the hard copies. So we will have a large group of people to choose from. We also, thanks to Dr. Coleman, she came back and we had a meeting this week or last week regarding the possibility of implementing a cybersecurity program. And, you know, when I heard cybersecurity, I thought about, okay, that's a military thing and all that kind of stuff. All of our private companies now that do any business online has to have some way of protecting their security. So again, the job opportunities for our kids are immense. So we are looking into providing cybersecurity, I guess, certification opportunities through all 4 of our high schools, and we will keep you posted on that. We're kind of working on the logistics now, but thank you, Dr. Coleman, for that. And we could be one of the few districts in the nation, is that correct, who are getting on board with this, and this is actually being sponsored by the Department of Homeland Security. So that's a growing field that we are definitely looking at taking advantage of. Another reminder about our career fair tomorrow night for educational opportunities that will be held at the Orange Park campus of St. Johns River State. I believe that starts at 11 through 7. Thursday. Thank you for correcting me. Thursday night. And if you know anybody that is thinking about going into education, not necessarily teachers, but non-instructional as well, just go and visit that fair, and there will be a lot of information for them. And one last thing is on June 18th, if you can make a note of this, I'm asking the board, and we may need to make a decision, but I plan on being in Orlando that day, and there is a luncheon where we will be honoring Georgia Pacific as one of our partners. And this is a luncheon sponsored by the Department of Education, but I feel the need to be there to represent the district, and all of our districts will be there honoring one of their partners. So because of that, I'm asking you to bump back the time of that meeting to 6 p.m. on June 18th.
The board meeting.
The board meeting, right. So I can travel back and be here for the board meeting.
Okay, hold on. Now, this is June the 18th.
That's correct.
And it's a luncheon to honor.
Yeah, I'll be at the luncheon.
All right.
We need to move the board meeting.
Yeah, I'm just asking
All
you
you
to-
need us to do is just move the board meeting.
Yes, please.
To 6
p.m.
To
Okay.
6 p.m. That will
All
give me
right.
time to get back. And
Let me.
Mr. Attorney, would they need to vote on that, or what would be their
That's fine with me.
Yeah, it would be advisable to go ahead and vote since the times of the board meetings have been previously published. And then when it is noticed 7 days in
Can we
advance.
vote now?
Yes, it can be brought up now.
And this is June 8th.
I'd like to make a motion that we change the June 18th board meeting time from 3:30 to 6 p.m.
A second.
Okay, it's been moved that we, by Mrs. Jane Crawford, that we move our board meeting on June 18th from the 3:30 scheduled time to 6 o'clock p.m. to allow the superintendent to be able to attend. It has been seconded by Mrs. Holly Pickens. All in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Opposes? Motion carries 4-0, and I don't have anyone in that slot to do invocation, so I don't have to contact anyone. So we're good to go.
Thank you.
All righty,
And that's all my comments today.
okay. And that's June 18th meeting. Will be 6 o'clock. Yeah, let me go ahead and get this. If there's nothing else to come before the board, this portion of our meeting is adjourned. We're going to take a 5-minute recess